Ah! Hi, Nick.
There you go, Greg. Hi, Greg. Hey there, beer tubers. Welcome back to Beer Analysis 101 with your host, Maxwell Starr. Tonight, we're taking a look at something I'm actually looking forward to. Not necessarily because the beer is super crazy, fantastic, or anything, but the band that it's a reference to, Rush. This is Rush and Henderson's Canadian Golden Ale. So, we'll get more into the details of what this is and where it's from in a moment here, but we'll introduce who we have with us tonight, starting with Mr. Redbeard. Beerds.
Hello. How are you doing?
Not too bad. How are you doing tonight?
I'm doing well. Thank you for having me. Gonna have a beer? I was trying to think of some way to say I'm excited to have this beer, but there's no way to say I'm excited for this beer. Yeah, should be a good time.
All right. Alrighty, so move over to Lily here with us, some random person in the background.
Who's that person behind you? Oh my God! You're about to be attacked.
She's muted. We're just going to assume that Lady Lee is doing great tonight. So we'll move
hey guys, sorry.
Hi Lee.
There's just lots of animals running around right now. By
Oh,
lots,
good.
I mean two. They're making lots of noise.
Either a kidnapping or a booty call.
I'm doing fantastic. Oh, that's my roommate.
You just called that human an animal. What the hell?
Jesus Christ. All right, Lee.
Well, he's not making the noise.
How are you doing today anyway?
I'm doing fantastic.
Good. That's good to hear. All right. So let's move over to Greg. Hi, Greg. Hi, Greg.
Hello, everybody.
How you doing tonight, Greg?
Look, Kleenex box. Never know what's going to happen tonight.
You never know. You might enjoy
Plus
this
a
beer
mouse.
too much.
Plus a mouse. That's a key to porn.
Sure. So it's the remote control, but we don't talk about that.
Wow. You know, but that'd be porn on the big screen. That's just too much porn.
Too much porn for Greg. That's not right.
I also want to mention Lisa stopping in to say hi. You know, off to work. Have a good night, all. Have a good night, Lee. All right. That's the one comment.
Goodbye, Manly, or Baby Lee, as you like to be called now.
All right, moving along. Thank you, Greg. We got the well-dressed Catfish is here with us tonight, which is Mr. Ashley Sexton, Sexton Brewing Co. How are you doing tonight?
Oh, I'm doing great. You know, got all dressed up in my hoodie for the show tonight.
You look like you're going for a job interview.
Yes, a job interview for this beer. So having a great night. Hope everyone's having a good time as well. And yeah, looking forward to having a beer.
Nice. Well, this is kind of like beer interviews. You know, this is the job interview for the beer that we're interviewing to see whether it's good enough to keep drinking it.
Pretty. We always end up drinking it all anyways.
Yeah.
Well, so
hey, there have been some rain pours.
There have been. Yes.
All right.
That is true. Yes.
Cool. Thank you, sir. All right, so move over to Mr. Dan, who is currently mad with excitement.
Mad with excitement because I'm a golden boy.
I see what they did there.
Easy there. Hi. Good evening. How you guys doing? I mean, it's pretty late over there. Are you guys not falling asleep already? Greg, you're still awake?
Pretty close, but not yet.
We're waiting for him to fall asleep.
I'll be up in Houston.
So despite the Metallica, Korn, and Iron Maiden posters on the walls, he is a big Rush fan too, right?
I might have a Rush something over here that might be.
Oh shit! I see up on the back wall.
Yep.
Lean over, see the master himself.
Yep. You here? If I move over, you actually get to see it in focus now.
Nice.
One of my friends actually took that picture in at the Calgary concert.
Oh, wow. So. That's a pretty clear picture of him, and it looks like he's in action. That's an awesome photo. I like it. All right, we'll talk about that more later. Let's get back over to moi, and I'm going to read the history of this band. So I decided to change the, just because I wanted to, change the history reading part up a little bit. So this BA 101 gives me a rare chance to talk about one of my favorite other passions other than just beer, which is that I'm a big classic rock fan, and one of my favorite bands is Rush. As Lee, who's no longer watching this chat, would have been to be able to attest to, because of that time we drove to Toronto listening to nothing but Rush in the car, much to his chagrin. But anyway, so Rush was formed in 1968 by Toronto area high school friends Alexander Zivojinovich, aka Alex Lifeson, John Rutsey, and Gary or Getty Weinrib, later Getty Lee. So yeah, literally, was it Zivojinovic is Serbian, and it's translates out to "son of life," and that is actually a detail they put in an episode of the Trailer Park Boys. So Rutsy, the original drummer, he left the band due to health reasons after the first album was released, this one, in 1974. And after a round of auditions, the band was joined by Neil Peart, who would also go on to become the band's chief lyricist. Peart's love of science fiction and fantasy would also change in the direction of the band, and with their album 2112, became one of progressive rock's top acts of the 1970s. In fact, if I open up the gatefold of this album, you'll see there's the logo, the Starman logo that's on the side of the can. And it was also on Neil Peart's drum set for like the bass drum for most of the 70s, I think. The last half of the 70s. So Rush would go on to enjoy, of course, a 40-plus year career in music, selling over 40 million albums, 17 platinum and 3 multi-platinum albums in the U.S. and Canada, 7 Grammy nominations, and being inducted into the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame of 2013. Their last album was, I have it here, Clockwork Angels, which came out in 2012. After the R40 tour ended in 2015, the band is basically retired. Sadly, Neil Peart passed away from brain cancer in January of 2020, just 2 years ago, 5 days ago. The story of the beer, however, starts off again with the R40 tour, so it's kind of relevant that we talk about that concert. After each gig, the band loved to enjoy the ice cold beer the moment they got off the stage. After one show, someone handed Geddy Lee a bottle of the Trooper beer from Iron Maiden that's featured up behind Dan here. And Geddy Lee remarked, "Where's the Rush beer?" So the idea stuck with the band, and with the growing craft beer movement, they began to look into teaming up a Toronto area brewery for a collaboration. So in 2020, the remaining band members teamed up with Henderson Brewing Co., a brewery that opened at 128A Sterling Road in Toronto's Junction Triangle neighborhood in 2016 by Steve Himmel and brewmaster Mark Benziken. Rush had been familiar to them after Henderson released an Imperial Stout beer called Put On Your Scarf, Geddy, in November of 2016. Over the summer of 2020 and into early 2021, Rush and Henderson began testing several prototype beers until they came up with their winner, which is the Rush X Henderson Golden Ale, which is a 5.5% ABV Golden Ale brewed with Canadian ingredients, including rye. The beer was officially released on August 30th of 2021, with the distribution to Ontario first, followed by the rest of the country. And there's also a limited edition Imperial Saison they did. I'm trying to get Greg to send me one. Hi, Greg. Putting that out there. So, with my spiel over, let's get down to the histories let's go with histories. You could say history with Rush or history with Henderson Brewing, because I know Greg's got no history of music. So first up is, I know this guy's got a history of Rush.
I first got to point out, you partially did the history of Rush with the beer, so you could show off some of your fancy records, right? Right?
Why not?
You can't deny.
He's got to slap his dick on
That was a nice touch. I liked it. Yeah, I've been not a huge Rush fan, but I've liked them for as long as I can remember. The only album I actually own is Roll the Bones, but I love that album. I used to love singing Tom Sawyer on Rock Band when my buddy had that years ago for his Xbox. And yeah, they're good. And as far as Henderson Brewing goes, I've had a few different beers by them. I've had a few of their beers. They do the Society for Beer Drinking Ladies beers as well, I believe.
Oh, cool.
I've had a few of those. And yeah, I haven't really had, like, you said something about them making an Imperial Stout, which sounds way more interesting than anything I've ever seen them do before. They do a lot of kind of for the masses styles from what I've seen, but they seem to be pretty good at it. So there you go.
Yeah, like I've never had anything. I think from Henderson. They've always been one of those in the background breweries in Ontario to me. So I don't think I've ever actually really had anything or even heard of anything from them before this, and they've been around for like 5-6 years now. Weird. Anyway, I shouldn't be giving my history of the brewery just yet, but thank you, Redbeard, for that. Let's go over to Lady Lee. Hi, Lee.
Hey, I think okay. My history. I've listened to Rush on the radio. I've listened to Rush on like whatever video games it's come up on. And the beer, I don't really have a history with Henderson. I did notice though, I did kind of laugh that it says beers for geniuses, and books are for tourists. That just kind of made me giggle.
Nice.
That's as exciting as it gets.
What is that
Yay.
a reference to? Is that something Rush related, Nick? I didn't notice that on the top of the can. Books are for tourists.
Beer
Is for geniuses. Yeah, I didn't notice that.
Where did it say that?
On the very top of the can above Rush, on both sides, in cursive.
Mine says Nietzsche says out of chaos comes order, and Ged and Al say order me a case.
Interesting.
That's
Really?
what I have on. That's what I have on my can.
What did yours say again?
Ours says
Beer
beer
is-
is for geniuses, books are for tourists.
Well, what does Greg have on his can? He has to be the tiebreaker.
Yeah, go on,
Thanks,
Greg.
thanks for thinking
What
about
says
me.
books are
Oh,
for
I'm sorry, Dan.
geniuses.
Go ahead, Greg.
You're covered by the SteamYard duck face on my screen.
Oh yeah,
That
guess
person
you're
doesn't
saying-
exist.
Dan is covered by my duck.
And what does yours say, Greg? I didn't mean to interrupt you there.
It says books are for geniuses. Sorry, books are for tourists. Beer is for geniuses.
That's what I've got on mine too.
Oh, we win. Fuck you,
We can't
Ashley
see.
and Nick.
Got a date of,
I would have to look those up. To be honest.
What do we got for dates? I
Whatever.
got September 17th.
January 22nd.
September 21st.
January
Wait,
22nd.
what?
Fuck. Yeah, January 6th.
Oh,
Wow, this is hella fresh.
Ashley has
man.
got a crazy fresh can.
That's
Holy
hella
crap.
fresh, man. That's great.
I got
Dude, making
September
this for-
2nd.
Oh, wow.
You
Great.
got hella old, man.
Yeah.
Sorry, I lied. September 29th.
Oh, you got
I
some
got the
dusties,
oldest one.
man.
They have made a lot of batches of this. That's like,
Yeah, that's a lot.
are we all
Yeah.
different now? Are we all different?
I got
That's crazy.
September 21st.
Wow. What'd you have there, Nick? Did you say?
Well, for me, hold on a second. Mine is October 21st. Sorry, October 29th, 2021.
Yeah, but
All
I
right.
think we all have different dates. I don't think that's ever
That's
happened
weird.
before. That's pretty cool.
Well, they sent a whole bunch all at once to New Brunswick, so I imagine all the stuff here is like that age. Anyway, all right. Thank you, Lady Lee. I will look that up to see if I can find out what these what the comments actually mean, because
Quotes. Yeah.
they almost look like cryptic statements from the band. That's why I'm a little confused on it. Although I get the feeling on mine where it says Ged and Al say order me a case. It's probably just to do with the beer. All right, so who's next? Mr. Greg. Hi, Greg.
Hi, Nick. So I do have some history. So tonight I just learned that Rush is a band. That's my history.
Hashtag
But-
paper Greg.
I also have, look at this, Rush Canadian Golden Ale. So I didn't even realize this. I have proper glassware for this. See, Canadian Golden Ale.
God.
Perfect glassware for a Rush beer. Look at that. Wow.
You know what? I wouldn't be surprised if most of their concerts have featured Molson Canadian as like the beer that you can buy. Probably.
I would imagine Molson Canadian is probably like the #1 beer of the Rush fan.
Probably.
Well,
Well,
That is
over the course of history, probably.
as a tear slowly rolls down Nick's face.
I'm sorry, Nick,
God,
but
shut up.
it is what it is. Anyway, that's my history.
What
I've
about
had some
Henderson?
Henderson
Have you had
beer.
anything from Henderson before?
I have.
Considering
I'll
you're
probably look it up, but I have had stuff from Henderson.
Considering you're the closest to Toronto here.
Yeah, I've never been to their brewery actually, and their brewery is actually dog friendly, so that's a bonus to
Well, that's
them.
cool.
But I've never actually been there because I don't think they make all that much interesting, and most of what they make ends up in the LCBO shelves anyway. So
Yeah.
That's what I was saying. Aside from that Imperial Stout Nick was talking about there, I've only seen lagers and kind of, beer for the masses, I guess you'd kind of say. Yeah.
All right. All right. So thank you, Greg. Let's move over to Mr. Catfish. For bringing it
Hi,
over.
Arnold.
Hey, Mr. Ashley, what's your history with either Rush or Henderson?
Rush and Henderson. So Rush, not my go-to band. They make great music though. It's just not my. I just never got into Rush, but I can appreciate the quality music that they made. It's just not. It's not my genre so much. Growing up, I was more into like alternative, harder metal stuff like that. Not progressive rock, so it just wasn't my thing. But Neil Peart was an amazing drummer. Looked up some of his like solos and stuff like that on YouTube, and is like just absolutely bonkers. His kit
He was insane.
amazing. So
Just the size of his drum kit. Sorry.
yeah, the drum kit's pretty crazy. Anyways, and as for Henderson, I mean, to what Greg was saying, most of you get the feeling that a lot of their stuff that they make just goes straight to the LCBO, and that's great. I think they have an ale. I think they have a lager. I actually buy their export stout whenever I do see it. It's a tasty, well done stout. And
I've had that one.
And
I agree.
And it's, what, for me, it's exactly what I want because I like buying, classic styles. They do classic styles. They're not
about
great,
that one.
but they're pretty decent. As for this beer, this specific beer, I haven't had it. This is my first time, and I do believe I did have a Henderson Rush beer already this year, though, but it was a Belgian quad. It wasn't a saison. It was a Belgian quad, and
weird.
I can't really remember it so much. I think it was just sort of drank amongst like a session, and it's just sort of got forgotten about. But it did exist. It was either a quad or a triple. I can't remember. One or the other.
Oh.
Look it up.
They randomly say like about Rush. I always thought it was really funny that Geddy Lee, for the longest time, his bass guitar had the smallest body of like any bass guitar in the world. It was just like, it was so funny to see him play with just this. It was the tiniest, weird looking thing.
But what I will say, but within the Niagara region, which is where I live, Rush is huge because Lakeside Park is in St. Catharines, and
I was there.
Yeah, there we go.
I know not the significance. What is the significance of Lakeside Park?
It's a song off their third album, Caress of Steel.
Okay, cool.
Lakeside Park, willows in the breeze.
Anyways,
Yeah.
Cheers. That's my history.
All right.
Nurses.
Thank you, sir. All right, so Mr. Dan.
Hi. So history of the band. I listened to them. I've never seen them live. I've wanted to see them live.
Might have missed your chance.
A little bit, just a little bit. When working at the Saddle Dome many years ago, I had a chance, but I had to work my other job, so I missed out on that.
That's something you quit your job for because you Rush live.
I think it was the birth of my daughter.
Ooh.
So
you still should have gone to the concert.
I should have.
Didn't you have more than one daughter?
Yeah.
Jesus
You
Christ.
can
Yes,
make it up. You can make it
yeah,
up in the second one. Yeah.
Yeah, I can make it look like.
Coulda, shoulda, woulda.
What caused the divorce?
Worth it.
Yeah, it's like bitch wouldn't let me see Rush.
Yeah.
A cousin of mine broke up with his girlfriend many years ago because she didn't let him go see Tool.
Wow.
Yeah,
Sorry, go
So
ahead.
aside from that, I always knew how good of a drummer Rush had because my dad always commented on how well he plays and just keeps rhythm and everything else like that. He was one of his favorite drummers out there. As for the beer, this is my third time having it. since I was waiting once to see if Nick could get it and he couldn't, so I drank it. And then I got another one and I waited and then I got drunk and had it one night. And so I had to buy another one. So yeah. It's my third time having it.
So basically, Nick owes you like $6.
Well, it's not like you didn't get a beer out of it.
Math adds up.
Yeah, that adds up. Plus deposit. So 8.
Oh, geez, Nick, get on that.
I forget how much this was here. All right, well, thank you, Dan. And I guess now it's my turn, so prepare for 10 minutes of explanation. All
right,
mute. Not going to be that long. Mute. All right, my history with Rush. I'm not exactly sure when the first time I heard with Rush. I mean, I'm Canadian, they're Canadian, and they're kind of ubiquitous on Canadian classic rock stations. So the first Rush song, I don't really remember what it was first one. The first one I really remember is that when I was 12, my brother had Roll the Bones on cassette, and he had that album came out September 91, I think, and so summer 92 when he had the cassette, he listened to that cassette nonstop after he got it, and I love that cassette too. I'm not singing the Roll the Bones rap, not tonight.
Damn it.
But yeah, it's actually one thing I could recite the entire Roll the Bones for.
I've heard it like 5 times. It's glorious.
You have, actually. Anyway, I can't perform under pressure like that. I'm not the master. Anyway, so going on with that, one of the biggest things I remember from back in those days, though, was I really love that. But one of the biggest things I remember is just how intelligent Neil Peart was. Because there was one, and I just read it today on his Wikipedia article, and I remember this actually happening and watching it. He actually interviewed Jean Chrétien when he was still just Liberal leader before he was prime minister on Much Music, and I'm thinking holy shit, this is incredible. This is the drummer. He's not just a knucklehead meathead drummer keeping time at the back of a band, but he's this incredible genius, not of genius of music and I'm just coming to this revelation in age 13, realizing this guy is just brilliant.
Holy anti-drummer statement you kind of just made there. Everybody else but him, the meathead in the back up in time. Jesus, man.
That's not. I'm not trying to say that all drummers are.
Usually it's the bassist. Usually it's the bassist that gets the shit. No,
it's this is Rusher talking. The bassist ain't getting no shit either because Jeddy Lee is also amazing. Anyway, so moving right along, so I was a big Rush fan. I remember copying that, dubbing a copy of that cassette of Rush off of my brother and listening to that for off and on for years. It's so it was only natural over time that when I started collecting records, I started picking up Rush records as well. And one of the first Rush records I actually bought was this 2112, as I was trying to get an introduction into their old stuff. I actually still have the receipt from when I bought this album in 2009. So, and over time, I've just added all the Rush records to my collection. And when Neil Peart died, I ran out and bought all a bunch of the reissues that they had, including this one is actually an original issue, but released around the same time frame. So I've got 5 or 6 reissues that, according to Discogs, are worth $170 or more. So it's crazy. But yeah, as far as Rush goes, they're one of my all-time favorite bands. Now, Henderson, on the other hand, I got nothing to say because it's the first time I've ever had a beer from Henderson. As far as this beer goes, I had 1 can of this before just to try it. And I'll get to my thoughts here. Now, I did notice on the side of the can, there's a couple of Rush references. You can see there's one for Roll the Bones. Better Beer, I think, is something. That's the dog in the fire hydrant off of Signals, which I think came out in 1983, and I'm not sure what the sun and the sun one is.
Wait, something else different.
I've got different.
Oh, cool. What do you got on yours? Oh, you got. I'm gonna bring over Dan's because it's clear. You got the Presto, Hold Your Fire, and Snakes and Arrows.
Neat.
There you go.
And Presto is the top hat with the bunny. Hold Your Fire is the 3 dots, and the squiggly road sign, that's Snakes and Arrows.
Cool.
That's cool that they made multiple.
I gotta
designs.
look up what mine is a reference to. I gotta find out what that one is, just because it's confusing me. As far as
you wouldn't even notice really that they made different things unless you're looking for it. Kind of shit. It's sneaky. I like it.
Anyway,
Sorry.
I wanted to add one more thing before I finish off here. And as I lately mentioned Lakeside Park, I've been there as well. Thankfully, Chris off the 10th, who's probably in the chat still, was actually took me there. And I didn't even realize I was there because I think the significance is it's a song by Rush on their third album, but it's also a reference to like one of the summer home camps or something of, I think it's Neil Peart's summer home or something when he was a kid. So he has many childhood memories of going to Lakeside Park. And I'm just like, that's the significance of the park. Now I think today, since he passed away, they actually are either in the process of, or they have already raised a statue in his memory. So
Raise a drum kit in his memory.
Oh God. All right. So that was 6 minutes of my history. So, all right, let's get over to Redbeard. I'm going to put you up and Vaughn tell you to read the comments that are there because there's a bunch of them.
To raid the comments.
I'll
do it. I'll raid them.
Go raid them.
All right. Where are we? Off the 10th showed up. Chris, cheers. He's going to link this analysis on his Moo because he analyzed this beer. Off the 10th YouTube channel. Check him out. There's your shameless promo. Then finally, and God damn it, every band member peed in the yeast. Not sure why they have a naked man pushing his way through a chocolate starfish, but overall sounds like a good beer.
I mean, why not?
God damn it, man. And
every
then
band member say
Greg, suit and tie for a job interview. Yay or nay? My statement from earlier is it really depends on the job you're interviewing for. So that's my whole thing. No rush, Nick. Take your time. Haha. Nick thinks the meat's in the back, but he has it in the front.
What?
Nick probably said something.
That was about the drummer
Wise.
just playing in the back or whatever the thing you said.
Wise Gee giving
And
us
then the
his
meat in the
wisdom.
front, we know what that is. Flop, flop.
Flop, flop.
That's a
It
Jamie.
bounces. Flop, 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 flop.
Jamie, I want you to gift that. I'll do it again. Flop, flop.
Jesus Christ.
So yeah,
These thing Jesus Christ right after that. That was good comedic timing.
Neil Peart spent his summers as a child working and playing there at Lakeside Park. So he had a summer job there. That's cool. So that would have been like late 60s that he would have been doing that.
Must have been a lot of willows there because there's
Maybe.
no willows
There's
now.
nothing there now. They must have cut them all down during
They were spreading the COVID.
Oh no, there is still a few. Sorry. Yeah, there are still some willows.
Yeah. I remember being there, but I didn't realize that's what that spot was. I remember looking it up, and when I was looked up the song on Wikipedia or something, and I look over and trying to find it where Lakeside Park actually is. Then I realized that Chris Lezak actually took me there once. It's Port Dalhousie or Dalhousie.
Yeah,
whatever you want to
it's Port Dalhousie. That's where Lock Street Brewing is.
Yeah, exactly.
That's where I went. Yeah. I've been there.
So have I.
It's got this funny image in my head of this park with a whole bunch of Warwick Davises standing around. Willows.
Okay.
Yeah, I don't really recall.
Nobody's going to get
there.
that
That's
stupid, horrible reference I just made. The
What's
movie
that?
Willow, Warwick Davis. Come on.
Sorry.
Now.
So we're too much
How
in a
you
rush.
played the
tonight.
freaking.
We're too much in a rush tonight, Redbeard.
See, thank you, Lee. Thank you. That was super sincere, and I appreciate it. I love you.
I love you too.
Aw. Well, now it got quiet and awkward.
No, we hear Arnold in the background, I think.
Yeah, he's. Can you believe this is? I think the first beer anal that Arnold has slept all the way through.
He's
I don't know where
sleeping.
Sasha is.
I'm that
Oh,
boring
Sasha's
tonight.
over
I
there.
know it.
We
so.
haven't
amazing.
finished it yet, so there's still time.
Come here, Sasha.
I don't know. I just think Nick's story was so boring. It put him to sleep.
Jesus Christ.
Jesus. Well,
I
I'm
have
sure.
that effect on people.
I'm sure we are
There's
ready
Sasha.
to go to our thoughts. Oh, Sasha.
Nick, can you tell us a Rush story before every beer anal? It'll be amazing.
I got an Oreo down there. Being all Oreo.
Gosh, and her animals. I
Yeah.
had to hide my cat's food because Sasha was trying to eat it. So it's in her cat tree.
And I keep
Just
my cat's food like on top of a
mowing
bucket, just high enough so that Oreo he never started messing with the cat's food until last year, and now I have to keep him. Now he finally, after like 10 years, realized, oh, this is pretty tasty.
This is another source of fat.
Well, apparently it's okay for a cat to get into the dog's food, but it's not good for dogs to eat cat food for whatever ingredient.
Cat food has way more fat in it than dog
All
food.
right, so
does.
there are still willows at Lakeside Park, according to 2019, unless Chris chopped them down.
Fucking
Chris
Chris.
Lezak. Cool. Not really a whole lot. Look at this construction here. They're
Yeah,
tearing it
they were
all up.
doing. Yeah, there's a lot of damage done there a few years ago from flooding.
The park in Niagara.
This is Lakeside Park we were talking about.
Yeah, it was just
Yeah.
like flooding from the lake.
Yeah.
Makes
Global
sense. It's
warming.
Lakeside.
It
Yeah,
happens.
and rising water levels.
Oh, that was so
Wow, there's-
bad, but good. Greg.
Holy
I like
shit! There was like more parking lot there, and now it's like
Full. It's always full. Except for then. Okay, we're here to talk about beer.
all right.
Right?
So, stop.
And here,
That's
and
Lakeside
here,
Park.
Fuck, man.
and here the pup snore.
He's a good snorer.
Arnold's
This
got
is how
some.
entertaining we are tonight. We've lost some viewers because Arnold is snoring.
Oh, you're gaining a dog snoring enthusiast.
Is that right, Sasha?
Time to put AMSR beside your
Yeah.
on this one.
Yeah.
Some more comments here, Guy. If you're doing an interview at Chippendales, bow tie only. Not
I
bad,
mean, that's
not
true.
bad. Then lately, wise words from the wise Guy or the wise guy works either way. It's good. Didn't James May cook cat food on one of his channels and it was okay? I recall that was canned,
That's gross.
which I'm
Cat-
sure is
cat-
also probably not good for a dog.
Cat food is a King Crimson reference, not Rush.
Wow.
All right.
But
And
it's,
then he said parking lot reviews is, I guess, what was just happening going on there. Seemed like a decent parking lot. Didn't see the entrance or exit, so can't tell how congested that might get. But no. How about the final thoughts?
Alrighty, so yeah, sorry, I was jotting some notes down. So let's go over to Mr. Redbeard, who's already up front, right, and center. Who will give us his final thoughts because he's in a hurry to do so.
Not even. Just nothing was happening, and I figured, we're probably at that point. And a little
Wants
bit.
to move things. along.
This
we
is
are.
actually pretty good. It's the rye really throws it off from being like a traditional golden ale for me and like the flavor and stuff. But at the same time, I feel like the rye is what makes me actually kind of enjoy it. Whereas a normal golden ale, I wouldn't hate it, but it's such a boring beer. Whereas the rye in this gives it a little kick and a little spicy kick, maybe you'd say. Smooth, warmed up a bit now, still pretty good. Was better when it was right out of the fridge, in my opinion. But yeah, it's a weird golden ale overall. Like style wise, I'm gonna go 7, and enjoyment, I'm gonna go 8. I like this a lot more than I thought I would. Actually, it's decent. Cheers.
Okay, Lily, what do you think?
I'm not a fan. I enjoyed it when it was like I first had it, so when it was really cold, I was like, okay, this is not so bad. But as it's been getting warmer, it's just been, I don't know, pretty rough. I don't know. Like when I first had it, it had this like very smooth taste to it. Like it just went down very easily. But as it's warmed up, there's just this, I don't know, this bitterness that I'm not enjoying. So I'm gonna give it. I'm just gonna do 7 for style because I don't think it's. I think it's like pretty close to a golden ale, but like it tastes a little bit different, so it has its own spin to it. But personal preference, I'm just gonna go with a 5. Like I just don't care for it.
All good. All right, thank you, Lily.
Fucking
Arnold does
Jesus
not
Christ,
like your
Greg.
review.
Dude, that dog is out of control.
Hey, at least he's not attacking me, humping me, biting me. We're all good. You deal with the snoring. First question for anyone: does anyone else have chunks in theirs?
I honestly didn't look, but I don't think I did.
I got
No, I
like
didn't.
a little bit of sediment, but just floating in there.
Okay, they're okay.
Big
Maybe
chunks.
sediment's a better word. They're not like sparkle puff chunks, but there's
I took
quite
my
a bit.
last drink and I've got like no dregs left in the last tiny.
I've got like it like the bottom. It's collecting. You can't really see it on the
Yeah.
camera, but it's collecting.
I got a little bit of snowflakey going on in mine, but just like you're being right now.
Mm.
What the hell was that?
Hi, Greg.
Nice segue,
Uh,
nice segue, Nick.
That was an unnecessarily
Christ.
Assyria attack. We're just gonna
Wow,
step away from
unnecessary
Nick.
attack. When is attack against you
All
unnecessary?
right,
Just then.
all right, Greg.
Right
come
there.
on.
First time
Always
ever.
necessary.
There's a lot of anger going on, but that's okay. I'm gonna be like I'm gonna pretend I'm stoned out of my mind listening to Rush. You can't bother me. So, anyways, I don't know. This beer's kind of meh. It's a little bit leaning more towards like a pale ale or an India pale lager or something than I thought it would. Which I see where Lady Lee gets the bitterness from because there is a bitterness to it, which I actually kind of like. Yeah, I don't know. I'm just gonna go 7s on it. I'm probably going a little high on style because I just don't like golden lagers generally. So this one's okay. And yeah, 7 for enjoyment. It's not bad. It's not great. It's not bad. It's kind of meh. Actually, it's a little bit above meh because meh would probably be a 6. So this is like a meh. But like a
Meh and a half.
Meh, 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 meh.
meh.
Yeah.
Meh with an exclamation mark.
Yeah.
All caps.
All
All
right.
caps, meh.
All right. Thank you,
What are you
Greg.
talking about? That's a 7.5. Whoa.
Jeez.
All
You went too crazy.
Jesus.
All right, Greg. Thank you very much. Let's go to Duckman here.
What'd you call me?
Duckman.
You're behind the duck.
Duckman?
See, you're behind the duck.
You're Duckley Sexton for me as well.
Oh,
now,
I
now,
gotcha.
now Greg is the duck.
No,
Got it.
shit.
Greg's good.
Wow. Wow, what a roller coaster of scores tonight, eh? Holy shit. God. So, I
Tell
enjoyed
everybody
this
how
beer.
they should have voted. Sorry.
I'm actually enjoying this beer quite a bit. I haven't really been paying so much attention to the notes as much,
How dare you?
I mean, it's
He's going to say what it actually tastes like
well,
correctly anyway, so it doesn't matter.
Yeah.
no, I mean, no, it's a very simple, basic beer like this. There's a little bit of rye on the nose. It's like earthy, a little bit of grassy. It's got a nice bitterness to it, which I appreciate. It's an ale, so it's a little bit more rounded, a little bit more soft of a mouth feel to it. But it has a nice bite. It has a nice earthy bite. It's for what it's supposed to be. It's like, for me, for a golden ale, it's exactly what it's supposed to be. It's just like a slightly different version of a pale ale. That's a little bit biscuit, or like a little bit more biscuity. So I mean, for me, this is exactly what it's supposed to be. So for style, I'll give it an 8.75. I mean, the rye sort of knocks it down, but for me, I really like the rye because it adds a little bit more of a malt complexity, a secondary flavor. And for personal preference, I will give this a 8.5, and I would buy this again. Yeah.
Holy shit, Ash. You liked it.
I like it.
I think that's
No,
the closest I've ever gotten to an Ashley description when I did my thing. I'm proud of myself right now.
He's taking credit for Ashley now. Look at him.
Not at all. Not at all.
All right. Thank you, Ash.
If anything, I would give Ashley credit for teaching me stuff. That's what I would do right there.
Oh, yeah.
Dan.
Thank you,
Hi, Dan.
Sensei.
Speaking of Sensei, show us Dahar Master.
I've gotten, you know what? In all honesty, if I had to go out and get a 6-pack or a 4-pack in a pinch for a beer that would get me through the night at a party, this would be it. I mean, I like the taste. It's actually a very appreciative taste. It's better than just a normal ale. It's better than a lager. It's better than a lot of other things that you have that has simple and very, how can I put it, plain ingredients on it. It has actually a better taste than what a lot of other things have. It goes down nicely. It's actually quite smooth for the style. Yeah, I'm gonna have to agree with Ashley on this. So I'm up there. It's an 8.75 for me. And enjoyment, like I said, if I was out at a party and I had a 4-pack of this would last me for the night, and I still be able to enjoy everything else. This works for me. This is something I would actually turn to and go to over a lot of other ones. So an 8.5 for enjoyment for me.
Wow. All right, Dan.
So,
All right. Yeah, well, thank you, Dan. That was right on. All right, so let's go over to moi, and I will talk about my thoughts on this. So, off of this one, taking a sip, I got notes like pine, floral, citrus, and the malt. Sorry, and the fruitiness. Got a malty sweet caramel backbone. It's very bready. And finishes with this earthy, copper coiny, peppery note from the rye. It goes down super easy. It is maybe a little bit too sweet, but it's not bad. The first can I had, the funny part is the first can of this I bought a while ago, I thought was way too bready, and I didn't necessarily enjoy it too much. It's almost like I bought these together. This is the second can, but the last one I had maybe 2 months ago, and this has been in the fridge the whole time. Maybe it's the magic fridge effect, like what Greg's got going on usually, or maybe just a little age
Magic fridge.
dumb down the breadiness, because this is actually falling in line, being damn near perfect.
I remember that now.
Yeah, the rye note, on the other hand, just to go run contrary to what Ashley was saying, the rye note is actually why I marked it up and not down. So, but
I like the rye.
yeah,
The rye's good.
well, you said you lot when you said it. You said you.
For the style.
rye
I
took away.
apologize.
Yeah.
Sorry.
Look,
Yeah,
no,
just
to
for the
me, I was just like, when it comes to the style, I find the rye actually adds. So
Fair enough. Perfect,
However, your rating's still gonna be higher. So I decided to go with an 8 for the style, because when it comes to a golden ale, this is pretty freaking good. Golden ale is not necessarily my favorite style though, so I would say 7.5 for overall enjoyment, which is still to say I really liked it too. Just not as much as Ash or Dan or Redbeard.
Aren't we pretty close, you and I?
Well, you're an 8, and Ashley and Dan are both 8.5s. Because Ash,
Are we
Style.
rating sexiness right now?
Ash's notes.
I was a 7 for the enjoyment.
I was you were 7 for enjoyment.
Yeah.
Anyway, let me finish.
Sorry.
So, with that said, I forgot what I was going to go. Dickhole. Well, I was going to say yes. At the thing is that this thing is $4.69 a can here in New Brunswick. So would I buy this again? Actually, I probably would, even at that price, because I'd like to try again. It'd be kind of cool to get a can and just save it on the shelf, because I love that fucking logo. The other thing, of course, though, is that if I were to consider this a swill beer, that is way too much for just a chugging beer, which this is kind of intended to be. $3.50 for a can. On the other hand, I'd be buying them all the time, just because it is a very enjoyable beer. Now, if I were to look at this beer in the context of being like Alex Lifeson or Geddy Lee coming off stage after a concert, and this being the only beer that they get to chug at the end of it because it's their own beer, then life could continue on pretty much as normal because it is a solid product. So the only thing I got to complain about is the price here in New Brunswick is kind of it's pricey. Now, if you were to compare this to like
here,
the last time we got Robinson's Trooper beer here in New Brunswick, though, that was way more than this. So,
really,
as far as the band gimmick goes, this wins.
Yeah,
because it's like $5-6 or something like that.
But the thing is that it's not a gimmick, and you can start doing the beep bop boop, beep bop boop. Like it's not a gimmick beer. Like this is a legitimate beer that they could just pump out into the LCBO. Like,
yeah,
I'm sorry. I was listening to the story time, but are they associating any money to a charity with this or anything like that, or is it?
I didn't really notice.
Charity is there,
or is it just a straight money making scheme? I'm good either way.
I'm gonna
I
go
don't
with,
really
with
care.
straight money making scheme. I think it's more along the lines of they wanted a beer that they were associated with.
Oh, okay, that's fine. Well, what? Well,
I haven't heard anything about them
one is
donating
the
to
other, is it
charity.
not? You know?
You'd almost
One's
think
the
that
other.
you'd almost think they'd partner it with some kind of like cancer foundation to kind of commemorate Neil.
And you
maybe,
know what?
or something. I don't
Maybe
know.
they have. Maybe they have. But you know, either way, I think it's a great beer. I would actually go. I would happily go buy a few more if I wasn't like limiting my intake and stuff like that. But yeah, I think this is a tasty little beer, and it's not that little. It's like 5.5%.
Oh, it's a strong beer technically.
Yeah.
They should,
Easy there.
They should do like a brain cancer charity thing for their guy who died, Gord Downey.
They should do something.
Jesus Christ!
You know what? Funny point. This Gord Downey and Neil Peart did die of the same cancer. So
And so did my dad.
Wow, that got dark.
I was going to make a joke about the same cancer, but then Dan went and ruined all possibility.
I know.
And so nobody outdans Dan tonight, I guess. Outdies Dan. You know, like Jesus.
Well,
Christ,
you think about my dad was a drummer, so is Neil.
Yeah.
So I mean, yeah.
Cool.
I wonder which.
It goes in beats, maybe even times of 1/4. Sorry.
That was kind of funny when I was reading the Rush history about it. Like when Neil Peart showed up to his audition back in 1974 when he was auditioning for Rush. Apparently, he showed up to the audition with his drum kit in garbage cans. So he didn't have any actual cases to put his drums in. So he actually carried them around in drum cans in the back of his car.
Oh my
So,
god,
like,
that's hilarious.
But
Whatever works, man.
yeah, it worked. Well, obviously it worked. Apparently the audition was crap, but Joe, Geddy Lee and Neil Peart they found that they read a lot of the same books, so that's where they took
Nick Arnold is up. Can we see your vinyl collection again?
my vinyl collection is right
No,
there.
you have to start talking. Start
the,
talking
attention,
extensively about it.
the Rush records are. Let's see, where's my finger?
Yeah, there you go. There you go.
Are right in
There
this
you
area
go.
right here. There's about over a dozen of them. So anyway.
All right, good. He's falling asleep again.
Right on. So that said, yeah, I gotta finish my numbers on here. I'm almost done.
Beep bop boop.
Beep, boop, boop, beep, boop, boop.
I wonder who the next band
people
beer is
who-
going to be.
People who actually know of the band and care and stuff. Favorite song by Rush.
I don't think I could pick one.
I couldn't.
Give me a top 3.
How about favorite Rush album? Even that though.
I'd probably go Roll the Bones just 'cause I've heard it the most. But like I love, like I haven't heard a lot of their other songs aside from that album, but like the ones on the radio, like I love Tom Sawyer, Spirit of Radio, other ones I can't think off the top of my head for whatever reason. But all of their hits are great. So and like on the album Roll the Bones, I've heard the other songs that weren't like the singles and shit, and that's all really good stuff too. So
One song I've been kind of hooked on lately is from the album Power Windows is Mystic Rhythms. Fuck, I love that because it's so like not only is it got great guitars, great drums, great bass line to it as well. Anyway,
I love they have an album called Power Windows. That's hilarious to me. I didn't know that. That's great.
you didn't know that? It's the one.
No.
Shit, what's the big hit off?
Power
of
Windows. It's hilarious.
See, I always think of like moving pictures is almost pedestrian. Like that. Okay, that's the Rush album everybody knows. Like, and yes, it is a brilliant album. Like moving pictures is almost pedestrian. Who's got me on echo?
What was that?
Yes, it is a brilliant album.
Is that Greg?
That's gotta be
happening?
Greg. That's gotta be Greg.
Gotta be Greg.
You can't tell.
All right, so we are. You know what? I'm just gonna skip ahead to this part here and show what our numbers are, which is.
Beep bop boop.
All right, so you know what? That's actually a good showing.
Yeah, there you go. Fucking, I just drove that score like straight through the roof with
You and Dan both.
Dan and I, and Redbeard, I suppose.
Well, me and Nick were also pretty close.
Well,
The other ones, I think,
went the other
Lady
way,
Lee
8
did
to
not
7.
like it, and I don't think Greg gave it a very good score.
No, Greg's baby palate just couldn't handle the basicness of it.
So what are you saying about me?
It's the same thing.
I don't say
Make
anything
it a
bad
lady.
I'm talking about Greg. You just have a better opinion than he does.
They're probably just saying that your taste is no good because you're a girl. It's very sexist of you guys. Shame on you.
Jesus, Greg.
We're the worst.
No.
Power Windows, 1985. It's the one with big money on it. The big money? Oh, come on. You must know the big money.
If I heard it, I might, but I can't. Off the top of my head.
Fuck's sake. Isn't it? I think that's the video that's got them. Everything's flying around the backgrounds doing
I
this,
wouldn't know it.
the
From
most
video.
80s of all 80s
Oh,
music
video.
videos. Oh, yeah. Like, it seemed like an avant-garde concept at the time of filming each band member separately
I need
on a
more
green
alcohol to
screen.
deal with
But
this.
then what do they do with it? They just do slide wipes everywhere. I could be wrong. That might be a different video I'm thinking of.
No, you're probably thinking of the right video.
I like Peter Henry's comment. That's a good
War
comment.
Red. Yeah, that's pretty much sums up the night here.
What the hell does that even mean?
Nothing. It's just a
Oh.
bot.
Oh, for red.
Okay, yeah, I'm
Sure.
wrong. Time stands still. That's the one where they're sliding everywhere. Okay. Sorry. Wow. But Big Money makes use of some really early CGI. Okay. Because they're all playing like they're on a Monopoly board. Okay, so that's kind of cool. All right, so we're waiting. Now I'm going to put Redbeard back on the screen here just because let's get him to read the comments. Other than, of course,
is there anyone
that
left
one.
to read?
Yeah, Greg Guy's been typing in the chat the whole time.
Okay, Guy.
Oh, look. It's one of the
Do us a
cat,
solid,
that
dude.
Commodore.
Oh,
It's Gandalf.
I wish it was Commodore. Gandalf's a goddamn psychopath. All right, what do we got? We are no rush, Nick. Take your time. That's what was brought before.
Uh-huh.
And yeah, just the only new question is from Lady Lee asking who's going to ask the magic question.
There's a whole bunch of stuff here
get
from
on that
Guy.
shit. I said
Excuse
that.
me?
I read that
Parking lot
one.
reviews, and yes, you're right, Narushnik. He's already read those.
Yes,
Those have already been read.
Wow,
Hey, Guy, ask the question.
Nick was deep in.
What if Nick did it
Hardcore
all
math.
for a Klondike bar?
Oh, he would do it all for a Klondike bar.
Guy, ask the question.
What do you mean? What if Nick? He did do it all for him.
You know what? That's not the magic question, but I'm going to fucking roll with it because, it's kind of a dessert. We're doing dessert beers next week. BYOB,
Hey,
dessert
transition.
beers. So bring your own dessert themed
Can
beer.
we just call them Dan beers, please?
Damn. Okay.
Yes.
Fuck.
Weird, yeah. Well, it's kind of like Dan beer. So, like, do anything with lactose, so like pastry stouts and shit like that. Anything that you would have as a beer for dessert, not necessarily like your main course.
Fuck. I wouldn't have any
All
of
the
those.
choices
more or
I
less,
Not
more or
the
less.
beers. Yeah, Dan's gonna go crazy.
More or less a
Oh,
beer
the
that you would not
choices
probably
I
want to
have.
have two of in a night in a row, kind of
That's
thing.
pretty much it.
One,
So
one
that's-
is probably enough.
So imperial stouts.
So this would probably be a good beer to cuvee with chalet sauce.
Yes. Because that, well, you know what, that would be after dinner because you would have leftover
You know what? In all
chalet
honesty,
sauce.
That would probably be one of the least ridiculous styles you've tried that with, to be honest.
Yeah.
Huh.
I mean, you pour in
And that is
leftovers
that
for
is an
chalet
idea we
sauce?
had for another BYOB thing in the near future, was doing a cuvee night, wasn't it?
What's that, Dan?
Yeah,
Imperial
yeah, bring your
Stout
own
with black
cuvee.
currant.
Oh,
Bring two beers that you think might be cool to mix together and mix them together. That could be fun.
Two
Oh,
beers and a
God.
random adjunct.
It's a bad
Imperial
idea.
Stout with maple.
They're all bad ideas.
nice.
It's not a bad idea at all, actually. Like, I've mixed many beers together, half and half.
Drinking
and
again, it
delicious.
says Molson Canadian. Everybody says Molson Canadian.
So
Cuvee
joke.
some Molson Canadian with some double tempest. There you go.
Yeah.
That joke is so
That'd be a Molson
old that it
Canadian.
makes Rush look young.
Molson Canadian. Yeah, right. Molson Canadian and Double Tempest Cuvée.
Oh Jesus.
Beer
The
all
fancy,
over.
they'd be the fanciest Molson Canadian's ever been, and the worst Double Tempest has ever been.
All right.
Yeah.
Well, anyway, it has been a fun night. I want to thank Lady Lee and Red and Ashley and Greg and Dan for
Hi, Nick.
showing up tonight.
And penis.
And yeah, Guy and Lee, cheers. Oh, and off the 10th, Mr. Chris. All right. We will talk to you folks later, and we will just, leave you with the penis.
Penis.
Bye.